Hello guys, so in this video I'm basically going to show you guys how you import cars from Japan. So I've seen a car here that I'm going to buy, so I thought it'd be quite interesting to film the whole process and show you guys what's involved, like every step of the way, just in case there's any like queries that anyone's got about how easy it is to do it, how much it costs. You know, I'm just going to document the whole thing, and that way you know the answers basically. So I'm going to follow it step by step. So I'll quickly show you the car that I've seen. So I was just scrolling through SBI Motor Japan. There's loads of different websites like this. This is just one that I use. I was just browsing, came up at quite a good price. So I thought to myself, you know, it kind of looks not too bad. It's a grade 4, which is quite important. That means that it's quite a good grade. So I'll put a little link up here of the Japanese grades, but basically 4 is kind of like good condition. It does have age related scratches, but nothing, you know, too major. It's never been crash damage recorded, anything like that, so it's pretty good. The mileage is terrific, 52,000 kilometers. That's like 30,000 miles. That's nothing. This is a 2.5 litre, so it's a 1JZ GE, so it's a non-turbo 1JZ that's in this engine. It's a JZX100, of course. It is a Cresta, it's a facelift Cresta as well, slightly bigger grille, and it's got like the wider tail lights which look a wee bit better. I'm not really a massive Cresta fan, to be honest, but at this price I kind of thought to myself, you know, it's too good to pass up. The main difference between the Crestas and the Chasers and the Mark IIs and the Crestas is the doors have actually got pillars at the top, but it's a little bit more luxurious looking. It's more for the older generation, the older gentleman, this kind of car, as opposed to the Chaser was more the sporty version, and the Mark II is kind of more like the budget oriented version, the base model. But you can see here the photos, a couple of wee scratches on the bumpers and stuff, but you know, you've got to remember this is a 20-year-old car, so it's fair enough. 22 years old it is, but the interior is pretty clean. I would expect so for 30,000 miles, and it does have 30k. I've checked the report as well. It is an automatic, as I think they all were, to be honest, all Crestas. But yeah, looks pretty good. There you go, 52,323, so I mean it's very low mileage for its age, so pretty happy with that. There's a money shot there, 1JZ. What am I going to do with this car? God knows, but you know, I'm going to buy it anyway because, well, it's quite a good price. So first thing I've done, I have sent basically an inquiry to SBI, and what will happen now is they'll get back to me usually within a couple of hours, and like a sales agent will basically speak to you, and they'll basically just negotiate a price with you. Now when you're getting a car from Japan, there's a couple of prices that you need to pay attention to. So the first one is the price of the car, which is known as like FOB, and that basically means the price of the car to the port in Japan, ready to get put on a boat. You also need to pay attention to how much the shipping costs. So you need to let the person who you're buying the car from know that you want the car shipped to the United Kingdom at whatever port you want. Now I'm going to get the car shipped to Newcastle in the United Kingdom because it's the closest port to myself. So when I'm asking for the price of the car, I usually ask for the price of the car CIF to Newcastle, United Kingdom. And what that basically means is that is the price of the car, including the car, shipped to the United Kingdom, and the I stands for insurance as well, so it does have insurance if anything was to happen to it on its journey to the UK. So I usually just ask for a Pro-Forma invoice, or what's the best price you can do, CIF, and they'll usually negotiate back. So I'm just waiting on the person from SBI. It looks like the rep's name is Anna, so speak to this person and see what they can do for me price wise, and then we'll go from there. But chances are the price is already pretty good, so I think I'm going to buy this. So we'll keep you updated when the person gets back to me. Okay guys, it is later on and I have had a response from Anna, who has took a little bit of money off the car. Pretty happy with the total CIF price. So basically I just need to fill this out and send it back with all the relevant information. So just to break it down, the consignee name, that's basically my name, my address, my phone number and my email address. Notified party, you can have it the same as the consignee. Port of discharge, you obviously want to make sure that you write the correct port. In my case it's Newcastle, United Kingdom. And final destination, I think is just the same as port of discharge, never seen that. And it'll ask you the courier address for your documents. Again, that is your address. This is where they're going to send the very important documents that you'll get later, such as the export certificate, the bill of lading, and the invoice for the car, which is for paying the VAT and duty. So I'm just going to fill all this out. I'm going to reply to Anna just now, and hopefully we should get a reply tonight with on how to send the payment. Okay guys, so I've had a response. So they have sent me the invoice, so I'll quickly show you guys what it looks like. This is basically the shipper who's sending the car. This is obviously my details, so it has your name, address, your telephone number and your email, which I've blanked out. These, obviously, like I said, your notified party, basically the Port Authority. In my case it's NSA in Newcastle, but it automatically gets sent to them anyway, so you can just put the same as consignee, it's absolutely fine. That's the shipping location where the car's coming from, so it's coming from Kazarzura, yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce that, I'm just murdering the pronunciation. And it's going to Newcastle upon Tyne in the United Kingdom. And yeah, final destination is the UK. On this side, this is all the bank details, so this is where I'm going to be sending my money. So you need to pay very special attention to this because it needs to be, you know, picture perfect, it needs to be word for word absolutely spot on. That's the beneficiary's name, or beneficiary, whatever you want to say. That's obviously who's shipping the car, and where it's the bill of lading's been issued from, and where the shipping's been paid from. And then at the bottom here, obviously you can see, make sure you write down your name and invoice number on your bank transfer slip, so make sure you do that, otherwise it might not take, you know, it might take longer to clear it. You can see here it's for one car, and that's the invoice number which you need to put in when you're sending it, and the reference number and the chassis number of the car, and the payment is due by tomorrow basically, but we're paying it today, so. And that's just the item there again, just to confirm, and again the price at the bottom. So that's pretty much it. That's what the invoice looks like. As soon as you pay it, quicker they can send the car out basically. So I'm just going to do it just now. If you looked at the invoice, you'll see that it says US dollars, which isn't a problem. Most banks can send US dollars. However, to send US dollars to Japan is sometimes not as easy. Sometimes it will try and let you send Japanese yen to Japan, which makes more sense to be honest. But a lot of the time when you're buying these cars from Japan, you're sending it in a foreign currency to a foreign country to another foreign person. It's quite you know, a bit dodgy sounding. But rest assured, it is all above board. You might have to go into your branch and get them to send it. They might ask you a million questions thinking that it's fraudulent, which is understandable. One of the reasons I like SBT is because they can take payment to a UK bank account, which saves a lot of hassle, and it means that you're not going to get international bank charges. If you're not sure, print off the invoice, take it to your bank, they'll help you do it. So I'm just going to get that money sent just now, and I'll update you guys once the payment confirmation has came through. Okay guys, so it is now the 5th of August. The payment has went through, so that was really quick, only took like 1 day for the payment to be confirmed. This is the hardest part of buying a car from Japan. Basically you need to wait. So hopefully within a week or two, we should hopefully have the documents for the car, the shipping confirmation, confirming that the car has been loaded onto a boat with the date of arrival and departure on it. So hopefully we get that within the next week or two. Right guys, it's now 15th of August. I've had an email through from SBI basically saying that the ship's been secured for the car. So I've had a quick wee look. It has been shipped by the Mall Ace auto carriers. There's usually a couple of carriers that do cars, usually Hogue Autoliners or Mall Ace in this case. So the vehicle will leave Japan on the 28th of August by the looks of it. It's leaving from Hitachi. So its estimated time of arrival in Newcastle is the 7th of October at the moment. Sometimes that can get pushed back, but at least now we've got a rough estimate of when the car is going to be coming to the UK. So we just need to wait now until the 28th of August until the car leaves Japan, and then we can track its journey until it gets to Newcastle. Exciting times, just need to play the waiting game now. This is the hardest part, like I said. Sometimes it takes a bit longer to get a car secured onto a boat because of like shortages of vessels and stuff, but that was pretty quick to be honest. It was only like a month, so it's not too bad, and it takes roughly another month for the car to get here, so just need to be patient, try and do other things and take your mind off it, or go a lot quicker. But I'll update you guys once the car leaves Japan. Hey guys, right, just a quick one. It's now the 1st of September. Had another message through basically saying that the car's left Japan and the documents have been uploaded, so you can now actually go online and view your documents like your bill of lading, but they also get sent out to you by DHL, usually via Courier, so that should arrive a couple of days later in the post. Usually comes pretty quick, so once I get that I'll show you guys what's inside it. What's that? What's this? What came in the post? Let's have a look. SBI Africa, Tokyo. Japan. Documents for DHL have just arrived today, so I'll have a quick wee look inside. So there's a couple of documents in here. The first one is this blue one. This is your export certificate. This is basically what you need when you're registering the car for your V5. So you need that, not just now but later. Also inside is another copy of the invoice, which we've already seen, a digital copy of that anyway. So the last one is the bill of lading. This is like your, basically a receipt, which says that the cargo that's coming on this boat is yours. How's it going, guys? So it's now the 6th of October. I've just had an email from NSA, who are the Port Authority at Newcastle, basically telling me that I'm expecting a vehicle arriving sort of day. So now is the point where I need to send over my documents. They need a purchase invoice, which is obviously the invoice I showed you guys earlier, just for the vehicle itself. They also need the export certificate, which is the blue one that you get for obviously when you need to register the vehicle. They need to see that as well. And they also need the bill of lading. So that's the other document that you received via DHL. Now the bill of lading, check with your Port Authority, but sometimes they need them posted. So I'm going to need to post the bill of lading. It used to be that you took it down with you, but after COVID and all that rubbish, it's now they usually post them. So yeah, I'm just going to reply to the agent, Kerry, just now and give her all those documents, and obviously I'm going to arrange to post my bill of lading. This is also the letter that you get with that notice of arrival. So basically it just says when the ship's due to arrive, which is the 9th of October now. It's been pushed back obviously a couple of days, it always happens. It gives you their bank details as well of where to send your money, and it tells you the charges as well. So if you collect your vehicle within a week, it's free. And if it's left for a week onwards, it's £50 per car per week after that. So you kind of want to get it as soon as you can, you're just wasting money. So I'm just going to send across the documents just now, and then I'm just going to wait for a Pro-Forma invoice from NSA of how much VAT and duty I need to pay. Okay, so I've had a reply from Kerry at NSA with the Pro-Forma invoice, which is basically like an invoice that's not paid yet. It's from NSA UK Limited, which is the Port Authority in Newcastle. It's addressed to myself. Obviously I've obscured my address. On the right hand side it's all your reference number, your invoice, date and stuff, and your customer number I've obviously blanked out. And at the bottom here you can see basically a description of what you need to pay. So it's a breakdown here of all the costs. So the top two are just standard charges, they don't really vary depending on the car. So the top one is customs clearance, which is just to clear your vehicle through HMRC. So 85 quid, and they basically process your car through HMRC for you, and it means that when you try to register the car, all the VAT and duty has been paid on it, and you know they know, so you don't have to worry about paying anything else. The terminal charge is 95 quid. That's basically for them doing their services of getting the car off the boat and storing it, etc., and basically just handling the car. So you've got customs duty and import tax, the two big ones really. So this is obviously based on a car that's $6,000 US. The customs duty is roughly 11%, and the import tax is roughly 24%. In total, it's like 34.5% of the CIF price. So you can see here that your customs duty is 556 quid, and your import tax is £1,308. So in total, the amount we need to pay is £2,045. And you can see at the bottom here all the details of the sort code to pay to and the account number. When you're paying it, just put your customer number as a reference or the vehicle order number as a reference. So what I'm going to do just now is just get this sent across. The earlier you pay it, the earlier you can get it booked in to get it collected. So sooner the better. So let's go and get this paid now, and I'll let you know when I get the invoice through. Hello again, guys. So today is the 11th of October. I've just had an email back from Kerry at NSA, who has received all the documents that I've sent and is basically asking me when I would like to pick the car up. So we can do it tomorrow, the 12th. So I've booked in for the 12 PM slot. They're pretty strict about when you can pick the car up, so you need to reserve a time and a slot, just basically when they've got availability. So yeah, we're booked in tomorrow to go and pick it up. So quite excited. It's been over 2 months since we originally purchased the car back in the start of August, so it's a long time coming. So obviously you want to get down there and pick the car up. So nice early start tomorrow. So yeah, we'll take you along on the ride and show you how it all works. But so looking forward to getting it picked up tomorrow. So we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Morning, guys. So it's finally D-Day. It's the 12th of October 2022. It's been over 2 months waiting on this car coming from Japan, so it's finally now time to go pick it up. So I'm just going to go meet David, my recovery guy. So I'm just going to go get him just now. obviously representing BENJY.JP. So you need to wear a high vis when you're going down there, so I thought what better way to do it than, you know, the old bespoke high vis. So we're just going to go and get Davey just now because I'm a wee bit late. So the chariot has arrived. That's not a Cresta. Fife vehicle transport here to take us down to Newcastle. There's a blue R31 Skyline there. Meant to look at it. Oh, that's fucking beautiful.
Perfect, come on.
Hey, she's fucking mint. 52k. We'll get a proper look at it later once we get out the port. Looks pretty good, like. Oh my god, what is this? Some VVTI, nom nom. She's a fucking shashaga, like. Let's go home. Finally made it. Don't know how many miles that was, but left at 11 this morning, done a few other wee errands, picked this wee Fiesta up too, so it's now about 8 o'clock at night. We're finally here, so get this bad boy off the trailer, dump it in the garage tonight, and then go home because I'm absolutely shattered. So I finally got the Cresta on the ramp just to get a wee look underneath it. Definitely doesn't disappoint. I'll give you a quick tour just now. Lighting's not the best, but you'll get a rough idea. So just looking at all the metal work, total rust free, no under seal on it yet. Pretty clean as you would expect for a Japanese car with 30,000 miles or 50,000 kilometres on it. Usual areas, nice and clean. Fuel filter threads are really clean. Chassis rails are all minted. All the components up here are like, the tractor ends are absolutely like immaculate. Like you could literally go down alignment on that, you wouldn't even need heat at all. And bear in mind this car's 22 years old. Bushes there look absolutely fine, hardly any cracking if anything. The steering rack's still like shiny. Just need to put a battery in it now because the battery's flat as a pancake. If anyone out there needs to know what a Cresta battery is, it's a 053 and Yuasa make one, so that's what you need for a battery. All in all, pretty happy with the car. So that's the car home. It's in the BENJY.JP headquarters along with the other misfits of vehicles. As it stands, I mean, the car is yours, you can do what you want with it. However, a lot of people will want, oh by the way I've had a shave. It's it's been a long week. A lot of people will obviously want to use the car on the road. Now, you obviously have to register the vehicle to do that. You can't just drive it, you need a registration plate. Now, when you're MOTing the vehicle, obviously you can MOT the vehicle without a registration plate if it's the first MOT in the country. The MOT tester should know how to set it up for a first registration. And then once you've done that, you'll get an MOT certificate, and then that's half the battle. Now you can register the vehicle. So I'll go over obviously how to do that. So I took a 6-disc CD changer out of the boot, and hello, konnichiwa. So to register your vehicle to use it in the UK, you're going to need a couple of things. So the first thing is a completed V55/5 form, or a V55/5. Don't let this form scare you. It looks complicated, but it's actually really simple, and to be absolutely honest with you, the DVLA don't even look at half of it. But what I'll do is I'll put an example here of a completed one for this car. Obviously I've missed out the chassis number and any sensitive information, but the main things are like just the make and model of the car, the tax class. There is an actual form. A V355/5 form kind of tells you what to fill out, so you can't really get it wrong. If in doubt, just leave it blank. I mean, like I said to you, they don't even use half of it. When I done my first car, I filled everything out, even the CO2 emissions. I managed to find them, I don't know how, and they didn't even use it. And like on my V5 it says like Toyota other, they don't even put the name. So yeah, don't let this form scare you, but make sure it's all filled out. Like, any box that needs to be filled out is filled out. Make sure it's signed as well, and make sure you put the correct details in, because this is where your V5 is going to get sent essentially. So that definitely needs filled out. Another thing you need to include is a check for the vehicle excise duty or road tax. You need to include this as a check. You cannot send cash, they won't accept it. Now for this car, it's a pre-2001 and it's above a 1.55 litre engine. So the 6 months tax at the time of this video is £162.25. So I need to include a check for that amount payable to the DVLA. The next thing you need to include is the original export certificate. So that's the blue export certificate, which we got from the courier when we bought the car. Another thing you need to include is the current MOT certificate. So you need to include just an original MOT certificate, usually the original one. You will get it back, so include that as well. You also need to send a photocopy of your driving licence. This can be like just a scanned copy. Ideally try and get as good a quality scan as possible. You also need proof of address or name. Now the driving licence I think does both, but I always like to send a copy of my driving licence and one more proof of address. I usually just send a bank statement, and it has to be within the last 3 months, so it can't be an old bank statement, and it has to have your current address on it as well, so it can't have a different address. And the last thing you need to include is the first registration fee, which is £55. Again, you have to send this in a cheque. They will not accept cash. You can do a postal order, I don't know how that works, but you can combine the two cheques. So you could add the £55 and the £162.25. You can combine the amounts. Obviously your tax will vary depending on the car, but yeah, you can combine the two amounts into one cheque, so you don't need to send two separate cheques as far as I'm aware. Another thing that you don't have to include, but I always recommend to send it, is if you've got the Nova letter, which you should have had by now from the Port Authority. I actually received my Nova letter the day that I got the car, because we got the car a little bit later than planned. You get a confirmation from the Port Authority saying that the VAT has been paid on the car. It might just help the DVLA find the Nova and match it up if they have any issues. So I would recommend just sending a photocopy of that. So yeah, send that as well. And you don't need anything like type approval or anything like that for a car that's over 10 years old. So if you ask for type approval, don't worry, anything like that. If you've imported a car that's less than 10 years old, I can't really help you because I've never done it. But you need to get something called an IVA. But you need type approval for a car that's less than 10 years old. So do yourself a favour and just don't register it till it's over 10 years old. And then once you've got all these documents, send them in a recorded delivery letter and send them to the DVLA at Swansea, Sierra Alpha 991 Bravo Echo. Their contact number is 0300 790 6802. If you've got any problems, phone them. They're usually pretty helpful, as much as I don't like to admit it. They do, however, take absolutely fucking ages, so don't expect to get your V5 for at least a month. You will get your V5 eventually, so you have to be patient. It's a good time to save up some money, buy some nice wheels for a car, coilovers, the usual stuff. You'll obviously get a registration number, I'm going to assume that for this car I'll get a Y reg, or maybe an X reg if it's 2000. So yeah, I'll get a Y reg, something along those lines. You can always put a private plate on it if you want, which is always a good thing. The 1JZ plates are quite easy to get, they're not even that dear, like 400 quid. You can get IJZ, quite good plates for anything with a 1JZ. And then that's pretty much it. You just wait and you'll get your V5 within a couple of months. So lastly, just to summarise a brief cost of the vehicle. So we'll go over them all again. So starting right from the beginning. So the subtotal CIF for the car is £5,300. The terminal charges, VAT duty, including transport as well. So the VAT and duty was £1,864. The duty is roughly 10.3%. The VAT is roughly 24.2%. The terminal charge is £95. The clearance is £85. The transport from the docks £300. So the subtotal for all that is £2,344, which makes our to-the-door total £7,644. The registration side of things, so the battery was £60. The registration fee, first fee is £55. The under seal cost 40 quid. The fog light was about £30. The MOT test was £35, and the 6 months road tax is £162, with subtotals £382. So that brings our on the road total to £8,026. So that's just to give you a rough idea of the kind of costs involved, from a car costing like £5,000 up to getting on the roads about £8,000. So it really depends on your budget. If you can collect the car yourself, you'll save a bit of money. If you can do the fog light yourself, you underseal it yourself, if you can get a battery, that's fine. There's a lot of things, a lot of factors that can change the price slightly, but you should always budget a little bit over what you should expect to pay for the car. But that's to just get a rough idea of the price. So I know that this video is obviously quite lengthy. It is a lengthy process, obviously, importing a car from Japan. But obviously I've tried to make it as simple as possible. But just to quickly recap, so to summarise, step one is basically finding the vehicle that you want to buy. So find it. You can use these websites that I've listed in the description. You can use an auction agent if you want. However, I prefer buying it from someone that's already bought the vehicle, like a trader. That way you're getting a much better look around the vehicle, whereas with an auction you're kind of taking a bit of a gamble, and you usually pay ridiculous auction fees. The seller takes like a certain percentage of the cost of the car. So yeah, you're getting ripped off in my opinion with an auction. Step two, requesting the invoice, CIF, to the port wherever you want it, and then sending the money to them once you're happy with the CIF amount. Step three, wait. Just wait and wait for your car to arrive. It takes a while for a car to ship from Japan to the UK. You have to be patient. Take your mind off it, do something else. It'll come quicker, trust me. Step four is receiving your documents from the courier. Make sure that you keep them safe and make sure that they're all there. Export certificate, copy your invoice, and your bill of lading, the original bill of lading is very important. And then roughly 4 weeks later, sometimes a bit longer depending on availability of boats, you'll get step five, which is you get an email from the port authority, basically a notice of arrival, saying that you need to send your purchase invoice and your export certificate over so they can work out your VAT and duty. Step six is receiving your Pro-Forma invoice for your VAT and duty, all your import charges basically, and then paying for it. Step seven is sending your original bill of lading to the port authority via recorded delivery, and then arranging for your collection date after that, once they receive it. Step 8 is collecting your vehicle. It's as simple as that. It's only really 8 steps. If you want to break it down, there's probably a bit more, but 8 basic steps. And then obviously these are optional steps. You don't have to register your vehicle for use on the roads. You could use it as a track only vehicle. If you're some kind of diplomat that doesn't need a registration plate, then ignore this. But step 9 is basically registering your vehicle. So you obviously need to put a rear fog light in it, MOT it, fill out the V55, get all your documents that are required and your checks, and then send them to the DVLA. And step 10 is receiving your V5, making up some plates for it, insuring it, and then driving it. And that's it done. Step 11, repeat, because let me tell you something, when you import one car from Japan, you'll probably be like, that was actually quite easy, and you will want to import another one, 100%. And the Japanese market is pretty quirky, it's different, and the quality of vehicles is usually minted. You've obviously seen the Cresta that I've just brought in, it's very clean. That's obviously a really low mileage car. I have seen ones with 5 times the mileage of that, and they have been in the same condition, maybe even cleaner. So a lot of the cars from Japan are extremely clean. There's no salt on the roads there, so they don't need to be undersealed. They're absolutely immaculate. People in Japan tend to take care of their vehicles a lot better than us. Their MOT or their shacking is a lot more stricter than ours as well, so the cars need to be in really good condition to be driven on the roads over there, and it also costs a lot of money to drive a car over there. So a lot of people sell them, which is good for us. It means that we can get really good cars for not a lot of money. But I hope this video has helped you. I hope that I've now kick-started an addiction in important Japanese cars. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments. That can let other people see if they've maybe got the same question, can maybe answer it for them as well. And if you really like this video, give me a subscribe, give me a like. It helps me massively make videos like this again. And once again, thanks very much for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys.